Okay, let us start the class. In today's class, in Python, we will try to understand multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Okay. So multi-level inheritance. What do you mean by multi-level inheritance? So in the previous sessions, we have discussed many inheritance. Okay. As I told you that these are very free classes. I am conducting the free classes over different languages like Python, Java, C, C++, data structures and algorithms, thrice of a week, 3 days of a week. Okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 8 p.m. sharply. So classes are being conducted freely. These classes will be so useful to you, and I want to reach to the rural world. Okay, because in the world, so many countries are there, more than 200 countries, and so many rural areas and so many poor students are there. I think these classes will be so helpful to those are in the rural world. Okay, so this is the open platform. Anybody can join the classes. If those are not able to attend the classes due to their busy schedules, otherwise time, because suppose if I'm conducting the class at evening 8 p.m. So in other countries that may be the time zone may be different. So that's why they may be unable to attend the class. That's why the classes are being kept in the YouTube. Okay, so these classes you can watch the classes from there. And thank you. So let us try to understand multi-level. And one more thing I want to say that without laptop, we can do the code practicing in the mobile. So that is the miracle thing in the programming. So many Android apps for mobile, like what you know, your PyDrive 3 for Python and JVDrive for Java. So many apps are there. We can write better coding in the mobile. Okay, so you practice it. Multi-level inheritance. So we have in the previous sessions we discussed many types of inheritance. That is what one is that single inheritance. Okay, multi-level inheritance. Next is what multiple inheritance. Next is what hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. Okay. Next, hybrid inheritance. Finally is what? Hybrid inheritance. These are the types of inheritance. Single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance. Okay. These are the types of inheritance. So in the previous session, I have created the videos for multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, normal single inheritance. Normally it is happening. So today we will try to understand multi-level inheritance. So what do you mean by inheritance? Normally inheritance means what? Inheritance means if a child class, if a child class is inheriting properties from properties and methods comma constructors from the base class means parent class. Okay. If a child class is inheriting the properties, methods, and constructor from the base class. Here, child class has so many names: derived class, subclass. Okay. Here, base class has so many names: parent class, base class, super class. Okay. So if a child is inheriting is inheriting the properties, methods, constructors from the base class. That is called inheritance. So whatever this, that is called single inheritance. Okay. Inheritance means single inheritance. Single inheritance. Normally we call it as inheritance, but whenever we discuss about the levels, what are the levels of inheritance, that moment it is called single inheritance. So whatever that multi-level inheritance. What do you mean by multi-level inheritance? Means try to understand multi-level. Multi-level inheritance means see, what is the multi-level inheritance? Suppose we can simply understand that grandfather from grandfather, father is inheriting all these methods, properties, and constructors. From the father, son is inheriting all the properties. So it is the best example. We can understand the multi-level inheritance. From means parent class, one grandparent class to parent class, from parent class to son, inheriting the properties and methods, constructors, whatever. Simply we say that from we can explain this relationship as grandparent. Okay, from grandparent to grandparent to parent, from parent to son. Okay, from parent to son. So inherit the properties, inherit the all that properties, methods, and constructors. The same thing, eh? Properties, methods, constructors. Okay, so you copy this, paste. So from grandparent to parent, parent to son, inherit the properties, methods, constructors. So then it is called multi-level. Level is what? From grandparent to one level, parent. That is one level. From parent to son, next level. So multi-level. Okay. So practically we will try to understand. First of all, write the code for this. You write the code like this. First of all, create a class, the class name, and then class name is equal gparent. Gparent means grandparent. So I don't want to write grandparent. It will take. If you want to write, there is no any issue. Simply you want to write it as a simply gparent. Otherwise, you write grandparent, no issue. So class always must be terminated with the colon. I told you that. If you white is giving error, it is expecting a block. Okay. Expecting a block means once class is declared, after that, whatever the statement that must have follow some word margin. There is an expected indented black. Indented black means margin on black. Black means some lines of code we need to write. So if you don't want to write anything here, simply you put pause statement. So then you will compile this code, nothing. So your code, nothing will be executed means nothing is, no any error is here. What do you mean of this? There is no any error. Clear screen. You compile this, you run, this is called run, not compile because it is Python. Run and interpretation. Okay. Now, if I want to do some code, if you will not keep anything, no, so it will give error. Pass. So this indentation error, expected and indented block after class definition on class means once class is defined, after that some indented block is being expected with the margin, a black. So black what? First create the constructor. Create the constructor with the self keyword. But after that, one parameter for this grandparent, that is grandparent name. Okay. Grandparent name. Okay. Now close this one. So it is to be terminated with the colon. That is what. After that, it is expecting some black. So if you enter, it will automatically interpreter takes by the one this much of margin it will take. Okay. So here for this constructor, we need to say like what suppose self dot okay self dot grandparent. Grandparent is the syntax. VS Code always help us. VS Code always help us how to write the code. So it says that this is the way. Here means what? This parameter indicate that your class variable. Class variable in this class, I have not written any class variables. However, so your interpreter understood that there is a class variable. That's why that is class variable are always being called with the self parameter is equal to grandparent name. This is variable declared in your constructor. This is called instance variable. Sometimes they are called local variable. Why local variable? Because no, this constructor is called a special method. So it will call as a constructor. It is a special method to construct the instance variables of the object. Now, what is the role of constructor here? To construct the instance variables for the object. Okay. So that's why it is called as instance variable. P is equal always the self parameter will be used to refer to the class variable, access the class variables. Okay, this is the I have written like. Then after you come down here, okay. Next, one more create one more class here. The class is named parent. Simply you write parent. Okay, parent is a class. Now parent is a class means this as we told as we have discussed that parent is inheriting from whom? Grandparent. So here in bracket, I need to pass what? Grandparent as a base class. So after that, now it is a class. Now parent class become the child class for the grandparent class. Then after one indented black. So you do one thing, you copy this constructor. This is the constructor for the grandparent. Here you create the here this is the constructor for the parent class. Okay. Why I want to create I want to construct the instance variables for the parent class. Okay. So here here you change this as parent name. Okay. Parent name. So now parent name self dot parent name is equal to parent. Here what happened? This is what parent name has a instance variable. Okay. Otherwise local variable declared inside of the parent class. Now parent class is a child class. Here parent class becomes what? Parent class become child class. For whom? Child class for grandparent. Okay. Means parent will inherit all the methods, properties, constructors from the grandparent. For this parent, grandparent become the father. Parent. For parent, here parent means this parent becomes the son of this grandparent. Okay. Now, here self dot parent name. So under this parent class, no need to refer that is class variable as parent name. Parent name. Okay. Once it is referred here, what we need to pass in Java, we can declare the class variables inside of the class without without assigning that, without assigning the values, without assigning values. So here in Python, if I declare any class variable inside of, I need to assign a value to it. I need to assign. So parent name is equal to what? It is, we need to keep a string here. Suppose was, parent is a was. Okay. In Python, we need to assign the values. Okay. But in Java, just we can declare the, no need to assign the value. In Java, simply you create the parent name is a variable and declare and close, terminate with the semicolon in Java. Okay. The syntax I am taking. So after that string, I am string declared. This is totally called. I am commenting here Java syntax. Java syntax. This is the Java syntax. Java syntax. So Java will be here. It is to be commented with the hash. So means in Java, class variable. Java syntax for class variable. Class variable. So Java syntax for class variable what? Class variable name. After that, you need to declare the data type. It is a data type. Then there is no need to assign a value. In Java, it is okay. But in Python, if you write, that is what parent name, parent name as a class variable, it must be assigned with a value. It must be assigned with a value. Like otherwise, it will not accept. Okay. So in Python, this class variable I have written and it is to be assigned with a value. So in this place, simply you write self.parent name. So Java, Python interpreter simply understood that there is a class variable without declaration. No need. Without declaration. There is no any class variable. I have not written any class variable here under the class. But we can write like this self.parent name means self means it self keyword use it to access the class variable, even though I have not declared here. So that is the okay self.parent name is called parent name. Parent name this is called instance variable. Okay. Instance variable. Instance variable. I have made a video over instance variables and I have differentiated instance variables, local variables, class variable, global variables, separate video I have made. Okay. You can watch from there in YouTube. Okay. I have clearly mentioned, I have differentiated them. Okay. Now here, this is the constructor. Within this constructor is parent constructor. Now parent class become the child class of what? G grandparent. Grandparent. Now you do one thing. Now create a class of one more class. Class son. Son is a class. Now this son class becomes the child class of what is the relation? Grandparent to parent, parent to son. So son becomes the child class of parent, not the child class of grandparent. So relation as per the relation grandparent to parent, parent to son. So son one is class. Now son class get the properties from the parent and grandparent. Okay. Is it the right way? No. So then, okay, let us see. So I need to password here in the bracket. Grandparent as parent as a base class for son. Son is a child class now. Now son class become child class of parent class. Okay, parent class. So now what happened? Okay, now try to understand that if I run this code, run Python file, click on this run Python file. So this file will be run by interpreter. Python is interpreter based program. Interpreter based program means interpreter, what it does, it checks line by line. It checks for line by line. If there is any error, error means bug is there. It checks line by line. Suppose at the first line, error is there, it stops here. It will not go ahead, interpreter, okay? Until unless the programmer will not resolve the errors, okay? So it stops there. But compiler, it checks all line of the code, total line of code at a single glance and give errors. My dear programmer, in this 10 line is error, in this 17th line is in 17th line is error, like that. That is compiler. Okay. But in interpreter, it checks line by line. It checks first line. If it is okay, it goes for next line. If it is okay, it goes for third line. If here is error in third line, so it will indicate, my dear programmer, here is an error. So until unless you will not resolve this, I will not go ahead. Okay, that is the interpreter. So once you run this run Python file, so it checks all the line of code if there is no error, and it converts that. This is called source code. Whatever the code we have written, that is called source code. That will be converted into machine language. Otherwise, object code. Otherwise, binary number, binary digit, zero, all are equal. Object code, binary numbers, binary digits, 0, 1, machine language, all are equal. Okay, means totally microprocessor can understand only the machine language. 0, only. 0, only the two states. Okay, 0 or 1. Okay. Now, what happened? Now, try to understand now this much of result we are getting. As per our statement was, G parent, from G parent, parent will get inherit the properties. From parent, son will inherit the properties. So multi-level. Here what happened? Parent, grandparent name is equal to Robert Senior. And Robert Senior name is added with Robert Junior. So in front of Robert Junior, father name is inherited. Robert Junior is the son for the Robert Senior. So Robert Senior name attached to Robert Junior. So Robert is son of Robert Junior. So Robert is getting the name of Robert Junior. Okay, and grandparent also. But if you don't want to give this, okay, how I will explain how it is happened. So first of all, as I told you that, listen one thing. This is the grandparent constructor created under the constructor. This is the instance variable, grandparent name, self dot grandparent name. So self means it will indicate that accessing of access variable, but here no any access variable created, but you interpreter understood that there is a grandparent name. Okay, now so print grandparent under the constructor. Now then come to that parent class. Parent class has the constructor. Within this, parent name is a param instance variable along with the grandparent name is a instance variable. So now self here only self dot parent name. I put self dot parent name only. Okay. Self dot, I have not put any self dot grandparent name. Okay. And then I am requesting for print parent name for grandparent name. Okay. With along with the parent name, grandparent name will be added. Means first level, single level inheritance. Okay. Then after under the son constructor, three names I have passed: son name, parent name, grandparent name. But only I have put self dot son name. Okay. But in the printout, son name, parent name, grandparent name. So here, son will get the parent name, grandparent name. Okay. So now object created for grandparent, this is the grandparent object, object for parent, object for son. So under this is also constructors. These are called what? Constructors. Don't confuse that, sir. You are stating that this is also constructor and this is also constructor. Yeah. Actually, what happened whenever object is created, the object is created for the class, and this constructor will be created along with the object, even though you are not creating this constructor. So it doesn't matter whether you are creating this constructor or not, it is up to you. But without creating this constructor, init function means init function, other word double underscore method, constructor, this constructor, okay, constructor means a special method. Method always has the brackets. So what is the constructor name? Grandparent constructor. So that will be created along with the object. Okay. Here, whenever this constructor created for designing the instance variable to this, actually this init function will be used to construct the instance variables. Instance variables are what? Object variable. I told you that object has name, object has weight, object has color, object has height. These are instance variables. Okay, object variables. So here we need to pass the instance variables values as arguments. Here you have declared as a parameter. It is clearly stating that grandparent name is a parameter. You have passed grandparent name a variable as a parameter, but value to be given here. Okay, value to be given here. Okay, so Robert Senior is the grandparent name. This grandparent name is added along with Robert Junior's son, son of this grandparent. So from here, object son, son will inherit the properties from Robert Junior. So if you, as per our statement, what grandparent to parent, parent to son. But here son is also getting the grandparent name. Grandparent name. If you want to remove, if you want to, as per our definition, you are feeling that it's confusion, you remove this one. No issue. Okay, this value. And for this son, you remove this grandparent name. Okay, this parameter here. So you will get only the son will inherit from only the parent. Robert is son's name, and the son is inheriting from the his parent. Okay, you will get this result as per this one required grandparent name. In it missing one required positional argument. In which line? In which line? Where is that? That moment, what happened? Why this means? Grandparent argument passed in son constructor init function. I have passed grandparent name as a parameter. So for this son constructor, so this is the constructor of son. So here, if it is here, I need to pass an argument here as a Robert Junior. So I need to pass argument for grandparent. So if I want to remove this, you remove from here. So no any parameter, so no any argument here. Okay. Now what happened? Try to understand. This is what Robert Senior. Senior is what? Grandparent. That senior, Robert Senior, is added with Robert Junior. Okay. So single level inheritance. From Robert Jr. is a parent for Robert. Robert is son. So for Robert, Robert Jr. name is added. Robert Jr. is the father of parent of Robert. Robert is his son. Okay. Next level inheritance. Now that is called multi-level inheritance. From Robert Senior to Robert Junior, single level inheritance. From Robert Junior to Robert Junior name is added with the Robert. Next level inheritance means multi-level inheritance. So how simply I want to say here how it is happened. Try to understand here. Constructor is one class is here grandparent, and for the grandparent constructor created, this is the syntax for the constructor. Constructor will be created with the def keyword double underscore init double underscore self. This self there is to somewhat gap you need to give somewhat gap. If you want to if you if you give this much of gap, no, it will give error. If you compile this, no, still it is giving okay and very nice. There is no any issue. So where error? So I think if you init and double underscore, if you give the space here, it will give error. Here, if you give the space, it will give error. So here, no any space for the init function. Okay, this is okay. You can give the space for here. This no, there is no any problem. Okay, still it is okay. So init and double underscore, there is no any space. And for def and double underscore, what is happen if you give, there is no any error. Okay, if you give def to double underscore, there is no any problem. Huh? So okay, now let us try to here in the constructor. I pass a parameter that is grandparent name as a parameter, and this self dot grandparent name, whether it is compulsory to use, no issue, no need. You comment this one. Okay, because here I have not passed any self. That is what self. I have not declared any class variable here. So here this is also you comment put it in comment section. So I am directly calling the instance variables in the printout section. In the print grandparent name. So no need of self dot grandparent name is equal to okay. This if this statement here also self dot son name. Okay, put in comment section. Still you will get the results. This is okay. Now this is single level inheritance from single level to multi level. This is okay. So now, what is this self? Okay, suppose if these are all object properties because these are added for the object. This is the object. These are three objects created for the grandparent, parent, son objects. So within this object constructor, I have passed the arguments, values. So these are called now for these instance variables, this grandparent name, parent name, grandparent name, son name, parent. These are instance for this instance variables, arguments are passed here. Okay, means instance variables, they will be created for the objects. Okay, so suppose if a class variable, I have declared a class variable. Class variable, how simply a name. Name is a class variable. Surname. Okay, suppose simply you write house name. House name. This is a variable, class variable. Name is equal to Miriam. Okay. Now, what happened? It is a class variable written under class variable declared under class. So, if it is a class variable, there should be some expected indented blank. There should be some margin because it is a class variable. So, if it is to be part of class, we need to give somewhat one tag. So means 4 spaces I have given this much. Now this house name becomes the part of this class grandparent. This is the name of grandparent, grandparent house name. Okay, you simply comment this as what? Um, Class variable, class variable, class variable. Okay. Now, once this class variable is declared inside of the class, it is to be shared with all. Class variable will be shared with all classes, parent, with the grandparent, because it is a house name. That house name will be transferred to grandparent son, from this parent to son. That house name will be transferred to all of them. How? That moment you need to do what? This house name to be added as a parameter. Added as a parameter in every constructor. See, if I add this as a constructor here, suppose if I have added house name, house underscore name. Okay, that is that moment. This you declare this as sun dot house name. Leave house name is equal to, now what happened? This house name is a parameter I passed in sun constructor. Now that house name is equal self dot house name, because here one class variable declared. So I am calling this house name with the self keyword. Self dot house name is equal to house name. So that moment, where is that Robert Junior? I need to pass the value here, house name. Okay. So it requests the positional argument. See, so in its sun constructor is requesting for a positional argument, house name. Where is sun constructor? Sun dot init means sun constructor. Here in this sun constructor, we need to pass the house name as word in single quotation marks. Let's put a string word. Any word. Suppose Francis. Okay. Francis. So what happened? Now you do one thing. What you are getting? Whether you are getting any Francis, this is house name. Here, if you want to get this house name, you need to, in print statement, you need to call it as a house name. Okay. Now see what is happening here. So sun has gotten the house name as Francis, but it is not their house name. It is not their house name. Their house name is this is to be, it is to be given for all. It is to be given with all grandparent, parent, and son. So that moment you need to call this as self dot house. Self dot house name. Now your this Miriam class variable with shared with all objects. Okay. Now see, Miriam is shared with son, but you are pending. So here in come down here parent class, under this parent class you create a house name here. House name. For this house name, you request for this print house name one parent here. Okay. Now for this, within this you need to pass a what Suppose he is also France. Like you, one argument value you need to pass here. The France is okay. Now, but this Robert Junior will be updated with the in that moment you need to call this self dot. Self dot. That Miriam will be. This is the actual house name of all the grandparent, parent. Actually, this Francis is not their house name. But we need to, whenever house name is as a parameter, instance variable I have passed here, argument to be passed here. But this is not the house name. This is the house name. It will be shared with all the objects. This is a common property. Okay, I will explain what is the common property. Now here, so Robert Jr. also added Miriam. It is the uh, house name of Robert Jr. The same house name will be transferred to Robert. Okay, now Robert Senior must have the Miriam. So in the Robert Senior, where is Robert Senior? Robert Senior is where? This is the Robert Senior, no? Robert Senior. So for this constructor, no, danda isko. Robert Senior needs to get the house name as Miriam. So in there is that Robert Senior, that is a grandparent constructor. Here in the grandparent constructor, we need to pass the house name. Okay, house name. Okay. Now for this house name parameter, we need to pass a value as an argument. This is the object and this is the constructor of grandparent. Within this, you pass as a value string, Francis. Okay. Okay. But whenever you are calling the constructor, whenever you are within the construct print statement, you call the self dot house name. This is the already it is helping us. Now you compare, run this, whatever. See what is error. Where is in which line error I am getting here? This is the Francis. Okay. House name. House name I have passed here. This house name. Okay. So center grandparent. Self dot house name. So now you clear this screen and you run this file. So now Robert Senior's name, house name is equal to Miriam. Robert Senior house name Miriam. Robert Junior has the same name Miriam from his father. Okay, and Robert getting Miriam from his father. So here this is called a class variable declared inside of the class variable declared inside of the class. It is a common property. Common property means what? Common property for all objects. All objects. How many objects are created here? One is a grandparent, one is parent, one is son. But all of them has this is their house name actually. But here Francis way have passed whenever you declare house name as a instance variable, okay, without declaring the instance variable in constructor, it is not possible to that moment you need to pass the house name as an instance variable. For that you need to pass the any value, okay, and then but updated with the class variable with all the objects. Now you can say that this class variable, it is a common property that is shared with all objects. Means if in that home so many family members are there, all of them will be added with this class name. It is a common property. But these are what some unique properties are structured for objects. Okay. Instance variables are that they will be created for the object, means object name, object has weight, object has color, every object has unique height. Suppose parent, grandparent has suppose height of t. Suppose if I simply I am suppose a height, grandparent has a height. Okay, this height to be specified here, and you need to call what is his height. You need to call the height, height, and comma. So now within this grandparent constructor, where is that? You need to pass his height as 165. Okay, now comma. Now this 168 will be passed with for the grandparent. Now for parent has some word height. Some that height is unique. That height is unique. Unique every has some, all are not equal. So for that height, you need to call from here height. From here you need to height. Okay. No. Here you need to pass the value. After grandparent name, here positional argument. As per that position, you need to pass 170. Unique. Okay. Now son has there is son constructor, son name, parent name, house name, son name, after son name height. Height. Okay. Here in the constructor, I have passed. Okay. I need to call as a positional after son name 166, 164. Come. This you compile this one. Now what happened? See what is happening here. Only Robert Senior, Robert Senior, Francis Miriam. This is okay. Robert Senior, his father name. Robert Junior. Get this the Robert. So Robert Junior, the height is 170. What about Robert Senior? So Robert Senior's height, if you want to call, okay, you have passed here. This is what height, and you have passed the height here. Here 168 you have passed. Okay, where is this house name height? Grandparent. But see, this value you need to pass as a positional argument. Grandparent name senior, house name Francis, height. This way, this height you need to pass where after this house name. Okay, 168. Why? It is a positional argument. It is a positional argument. Whenever you compile this code, what is this happening? Robert Senior 168. Okay, now next is what for the son, you have given the argument here, but as a positional argument, son constructor height, son name 164 height. Here height is okay whenever you're calling this 164, but you are not getting 164 in the son. Why you are not getting son constructor? You are not getting, okay, for here Robertson. So okay, now what happened? Robert, son of Robert Jr., he is not getting the height, na? So you have passed the height in the constructor, but for this height, okay, you have passed the argument in the constructor of son, but you need to call here, na, in the print statement, son name, parent name. Okay, this is the parent name, this is the house name, this here you need to pass height. height. So you will get the, if you run this code, all of them will get the height. So see, Robert Senior 168 height, Robert Junior 170. Robert has the height of what? 164. Robert has the height of 164. But all of them has the house name as Miriam. That is a common property. So common property always that is to be declared inside of the class as a class variable. And this is the common property that is to be shared with all the objects. Even though if you have passed their house name as Francis, okay, Francis. Okay. If you want to share this Francis, okay, along with all the object, because you have declared this as a house name, okay, it is a instance variable. That moment you need, if you want to share this, all of them are sharing word Miriam. But if you want to share the instance variable, that moment don't call this as the self parameter. Don't call with the self parameter. If you want to, if whenever you call it self parameter, it becomes, it calls what? Class variable. Now only Francis will be that instance variable. Everybody will get what? Francis. You clears the screen. You compile this, you run this code. Everybody will get what? Francis, instance variable. This is instance variable. So that moment, whether you need to put the self dot grandparent name, I have put in comment section here for the grandparent, for the parent here, self parent name under comment section. Okay. If you are, you remove this one. If you are in confusion, no need of this self parent, grandparent name. Okay. Now here, this is, so you will be in confusion. No? So this you can self dot name, no need this one. Simply every constructor, grandparent has a constructor. Within this, these grandparent name, house name, height, three instance variables. For these three instance variables, I have passed the arguments in grandparent constructor. Okay, now for this parent class constructor, okay, I have passed the values, instance variables. Only these are all instance variable arguments values. Only whenever you want to share this class variable, that moment simply you call this house name with the self parameter, self keyword. If you call it a self dot house name, means this class variable will be shared with your objects. Okay. So here I try to brief you clarify that what is multi-level inheritance means from grandparent to one class to another class. Okay, now parent class become the child of grandparent. So he's whatever that is what is Robert Senior parent class. With the Robert Junior, Robert Senior name is added. It is a tradition in the universe. Somewhere else, father's name will be added. Like in our India, in Kerala state, is there is where every son added with his father's name. Okay, suppose Sridhar's father name is equal to Raghav. So next name Raghav Sridhar. So grandson name is equal to Suman. Grand Sridhar Suman, like what you know. So here. So Robert Senior name is added with Robert Junior. So this is single level inheritance. Next, Robert is added with his father name, Robert Junior. So next level inheritance. So multi level inheritance, I can simply say that multi-level inheritance is occurred here, achieved here. Okay. So next,